We are the best team that's in contention for the last playoff spot. Show over. Bye.
That's a wrap. Call it a season.
We're all done.
Nothing more to see here. Nothing more to talk about. It's just clear.
Welcome, everybody, to 100 Talk. That was the condensed version. For all of you who are too impatient to listen to the 70-minute version of this show, for the rest of you who have more patience and who want to know who won the 100 Thieves original Windbreaker giveaway, sponsored by 100 Talk, sponsored by the guys who like you and the guys who are glad you listen, then you'll have to listen to the 70-minute version. Please leave us at 1x speed or 1/2 speed. No 1 1/2 speed or no double time here.
1/2 speed.
You must
that's
listen
the real
to
way.
us. Yeah. Bray Jordan.
This is Bang.
Well, it's been a minute since we've done one of our regular shows.
You can tell we're a little bit slap happy from our VOD squad.
Yeah, we've been doing lots and lots and lots of different shows recently because we are expanding.
Yeah, we're bringing in a new cast, new crew. We're not.
I was going to say, I was unaware of that, so am I fired or what?
Our payroll is massive, Cole. Watch out.
Yeah. I'm being told there's a little bit of audio delay, so I'm going to attempt to fix that really quick. So apologize while I do that. My audio has been a little goofy.
Zany. It's a little goofy.
Yeah. And as much as I hate to be like the Hotline League, where we're always fixing technical issues, got to take care of that. Hopefully that's a little bit better.
What do they call that? The cold start.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's a fine shirt you're wearing, by the way.
Thanks.
I'm wearing it too.
Oh,
because we
Would
are
you look at that?
The biggest fans of a man named Jackson.
And that guy's got a catchphrase. I don't know if you knew about it or not.
Yes, it is Soupfons.
He's Swedish? Soupfons.
Yes, Soupfons.
It sounds like an IKEA item.
It does, actually. It's like from the kitchen section.
I was going to say it's the oven mitts.
Yeah, Soupfons.
Soupfons. Oh, where are my Soupfons?
Yeah.
If we have any fans in Sweden, I apologize.
Well, guess what? I'm going to need some Soupfons for this super hot takes that are going to be coming out of Jordan's mouth.
You heard it here
Let's
first.
get this thing riggedy rolling.
Okay.
Well.
You just want me to go straight into the hot takes?
No, no. Let me start by asking you about something. Do you remember, looking all the way back to our last real show where we made predictions about this past weekend, TSM TL?
Was that weeks ago?
That was weeks ago. Weeks ago.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember if one of us made the right prediction or not. Do you remember?
I'm thinking really hard, and I just can't remember it all, actually.
Yeah?
It's weird.
Are you drawing a blank?
I did also. I hit my head really hard yesterday. Real hard. So, sorry, it's gone. That memory is just gone.
Not sure if serious.
I'm not. Don't worry.
Good.
But if I do pass out during the show, I want you to call 911.
All right.
Send them to my residence.
Well, of course, I'm referring to my super accurate O2 prediction. Though, if I'm being an earnest, honest man, full of integrity, I would say that was not the weekend that I saw when I made my prediction.
So the result was what you predicted.
Yes.
The way we arrived at that result, you would say, was unexpected.
Yes, it was. It was not what my thought process was, which was
fair.
TSM game, we lost in the draft. Team Liquid game, dang, we almost won that thing, dude, after being behind in the beginning. So, look, lots to talk about because we are continuing to improve somehow.
Yeah.
So,
which is not usually how we lead off the segments when it's an O2 weekend.
Nah, yeah, like it hasn't been like that recently. So,
yeah.
Let's do what we do and talk chronologically through this amazing weekend. Starting with the more depressing of the two games, which was TSM.
Yes,
so.
a less fun to watch, less inspired performance against a team who was looking pretty good when we played against them.
And was not looking good before that. So.
No.
They
Right.
had a
Coming out
rough
of
rival
Rivals.
stretch.
Yeah.
Just had not quite been looking up to speed like everybody had been hoping TSM would be this split. But guess what? We put them back on track, and we did so. How did we do it, Jordan? With
Yumi.
That's right, a Yumi pick. The Yumi
Well,
pick.
I'd say we didn't put them back on track for too long because they had a pretty significant streak end the following day.
Yeah, what was it?
That's
3
not our
years?
podcast, not our place to talk about.
You just wanted to get that in because of BrokenBlade, didn't you?
I'm not going to say no to that.
Yeah. Well, look, so the draft I think was the focal point for most people in this game, for a couple of reasons. One, we already pointed out, the Yumi pick was not great. Like, it didn't work out well at all.
Yeah.
There were some other problems with the draft, though. Do you want to talk through that a little bit?
Well, I think I would say I have a hard time faulting the Yumi pick from a draft perspective. Strong champion, in this meta, certainly a champion who gets a ton of bans. So if it sneaks through, it's kind of one of those, I feel like with Sonateric, where we've tried it before with mixed reviews. Yeah. And specifically those reviews are, I'm just not sure that that's one that we're super comfortable on. And I think that as our bot lane continues to gel, the type of bot lane you need to play to have a successful game with Yumi and whoever isn't necessarily one that we're already like well established in.
Sure. I
think we don't see a ton of shielding supports out of Aphromu, and Yumi is that to the nth degree. So I just think, I can't fault the draft necessarily. I wouldn't go so far as to say it's just an obviously bad draft choice. I think Clutch Gaming made some calls that were like way closer to that this weekend, where I just looked at it and was like, what game are they playing? This one at least on the surface makes sense, but I think there are plenty of things that we saw in that game that did leave me thinking, despite how strong Yumi might be, not for us.
Well, let me back up a little bit. I want to clarify what you said, because you said I wouldn't fault the draft. You just mean the Yumi pick in the draft.
Exactly.
Right?
That's what I mean. That's the extent
because
of that
there
statement.
are other things to look at this draft. Okay.
Let's dig in. What are they?
I am one of those people that's always like, don't blame everything on the draft, because it's super easy to do that, right? It's super easy to just say, oh man, that was a sucky draft because we lost the game, and obviously if we would have won the game, it would have been it was a good draft. That sort of thinking drives me crazy. Okay.
Binary logic on that. Yep.
But the problem with this one was more the fact that we basically set ourselves up to get counterpicked in every lane, right? Yeah. So the pick order was a little goofy, and because of that, we were able to get unfavorable matchups basically across the map.
Right. Able to get. That's a hard thing to do.
To the extent, we secured it. Achievement unlocked. Bad draft.
Hard mode.
50 gamer points. Basically, like it was bad enough that the camera even captured Pr0lly making a face, where I think it was the moment he realized just how unfortunate that draft was for us.
Yeah. I want to make that my new Twitter profile pic.
Yeah.
For those who are watching on video, can you try to recreate the face?
Yes, please do.
Okay. I was looking to you.
Oh, looking to me?
Yeah.
I think it was.
Yeah. If you're listening to the audio, please tune into the video, because Cole just nailed it. That was it.
Oh, it hurt. It hurt me with a pain and a hurt that I haven't felt in a long time, because I felt like even when we, weren't playing as well, like, and even when people were pointing to drafts saying, "Oh man, Pr0lly lost that game with the draft," it didn't really feel that way until this game. And I remember coming out of it, and we did VOD squad. Actually, I did a solo VOD squad for this.
Yeah.
And I think even on the stream, I was sitting there like, uh-oh. I don't know about this, guys.
Right. And I believe that's also the draft. While it didn't result in a very favorable champion lineup for the game, some really great gifable moments. Also where Joseph is writing frantically during it.
Doing his calculus.
Doing his calculus. That one was tweeted at us. So, just gotta have some fun with that draft. I don't know what he was writing, but he was very intent on it. He's probably writing like, "We've made a horrible mistake here. What should we do?"
And showing it to Pr0lly.
Pr0lly, I don't know about this, man. We should try rethink this strategy.
For this game though, were there any bright spots for you? Did you feel like?
Well, FakeGod won lane.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. All right. Is that it?
So, yeah, that's probably it, man.
Yeah, I honestly, I felt dead in the water pretty much this whole game. And it was, okay, so this is why I bring that up. It puts us in such a weird spot because we're like, this is week 5, right? And the TSM game was the end of our first go through the round robin. Okay,
Right.
so it's literally like the last game of the first half of the season. And I'm sitting there like, well, I'm not really going to count this against us. Okay, but we're already halfway through the freaking season. You know what I mean? And it just kind of felt bad to waste that game like that. Like it's hard to explain because and this was even before the Team Liquid game.
Right.
I just felt that this is not going to be really representative of who we are. So I can't read into this because of the weird draft. Yeah.
Yeah. This is a game I feel like it's hard to learn a ton from. I think in the last 6 months, we've spent a lot of time talking about all of the things you need to learn from your losses and how you need to improve. This is not one of those games. I think there's a question to be asked about, you could probably dig into a little bit more on like, what does it mean when FakeGod wins lane? Is it actually something that we can use to salvage a game from? I think we're just losing too hard in the other lanes to really have that make much of a difference. I don't think that's an example of FakeGod not being able to convert an advantage into map advantage or game advantage.
Right.
So yeah, I think it's kind of a throwaway game because our bot lane was just getting absolutely smashed. The resources we did invest elsewhere kind of just landed with a thunk.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, I honestly feel like there's not a whole lot to say about this game, and we're going to talk a whole lot about the Team Liquid game, but there would be something that we'd be remiss if we didn't mention, which is the BrokenBlade tweet. Okay, now all of us happy little 100 Thieves fans who follow this team and love it, and FakeGod is our young son who we're so proud of, who gets good grades and has gotten into a good school, and he's going to be an engineer, and he's just going to make the family proud. Right?
Yes.
This guy memeing himself, riffing off his own thing, which was the like a self-deprecating thing to begin with, right?
Yes.
Lose lane, win game is like, I sucked, but we still ended up winning, so whatever.
Uh-huh.
And then so he reverses it, right? In this and says it, and then BrokenBlade says what?
Basically, I'm coming for you.
Yeah, he goes,
I know
like,
where you live.
Nuclear. He goes nuclear because FakeGod says a win lane, lose a game. Okay, is this so?
Let's
our
discuss.
friends at League Leaders have Overreaction Monday.
Yeah.
Is this that entire show is just a screenshot of that tweet for 20 minutes? Is that Overreaction Monday?
Seriously, I cannot think of a time that somebody has reacted that poorly to a joke. Recently, I'm sure it's happened, but this was like flagrant overreaction. And the thing that kind of drove me crazy about it, and I tweeted about this at the time, was the number of people who are not just like fans who replied and were either like, "Oh dang!
Oh, you got him! Oh, there's been a murder. You are the suspect."
He did it to him. I'm like, wait, you guys realize this guy just made a fool of himself, right?
Yeah.
Like this is when it's like somebody's telling a joke and a guy walks in. He's like, "Hey, you talking to me? You talking to me?
Hey, come say that to my face."
I know you're not talking to me. So that was kind of the vibe I got. And
I've got receipts, by the way. Jordan tweeted, "Am I surprised that BrokenBlade got his feelings hurt by a meme from FakeGod? Yeah, a little bit. Am I even more surprised that a lot of checkmarked accounts thought his response wasn't embarrassing? Definitely."
Yeah. Like, how did
well
they
said,
mention?
my friend.
That's what I don't get. Like Cloud9's account jumped in and said
Yeah.
shut down.
Yeah.
Like the only way I was reading that is that Cloud9 was like, just shut down your account. You need to just shut it down.
We got him. Twitter right here.
Delete your account.
This is the account, Twitter.
Delete your account would have been a good, like a cheap Photoshop over that.
Yeah.
Man.
But look, honestly, we're obviously coming from one side of this thing, right? As 100T backers. I'm telling you though, objectively.
Yeah.
That was crazy. This dude went nuclear for no reason. Like, how fragile of an ego do you have to be flipping out like that? Look, it's pretty hard to have missed that FakeGod meme. Like, it's been a thing for a few weeks now.
He said it in an interview.
Yeah. And like, people joked about it. Like, this is not, I don't know, if you paid any attention whatsoever to League of Legends, like, you know about this. So it's just kind of insane to me. And we saw, like you said, a lot of people chiming in kind of like, oh, he got him. And like, Bjergsen was saying something too. Like, it was nice though.
Big brain Bjergsen. What is this? Right.
It was nice though to see the team rally around it, right? Like, especially amazing to come in, fellow EU guy, right?
Yeah,
and be like,
the situation.
Dude, what?
What is this?
Yeah. So, man, is this just BrokenBlade is having a rough little split for himself and he's just upset? Like, what's going on here?
I mean,
or do we have a new rivalry?
I cannot wait for these guys to play again, because that, I mean, as much of a bizarre situation as it is, that FakeGod wants to beat this guy next time he plays him. He wants to absolutely smash him without any help, like solo kills, one-on-one in lane. So that I think that is good. That's healthy, and it helps to kind of fuel competition. But kind of a bizarre place for it to come from.
Yeah, I was not expecting that.
Usually, okay, this is all driven by BrokenBlade being too, like, the only thing that happened is someone suggested that they won lane against him, and he couldn't even take that, right? Like, in most games, somebody wins lane and somebody loses lane. Yeah. And there are games where it's pretty much dead even. It's a kind of a deadlock, but that's kind of, I mean, it's not that much of a difference from saying we won this game when we destroyed their nexus, and then the response being like, yeah, whatever, it only got destroyed because you guys used the Rift Herald. Like, that was part of it.
You only won because you used the objectives well to win.
You got a Baron buff, and then you guys got Elder right after it, so brag all you want, but so that's the offense, that's the transgression here from FakeGod.
So this is the latest like weird chapter of banter / taunting in the LCS, specifically LCS, right? And there have been many other instances of things like the Sven taunt of this, over, was it Jensen that he did that too? In playoffs last split. And what?
What did he do?
He stood up and went like this over the top of him, like Jensen's short, right? And there's like double lifts wheelchairs comment, 100 wheelchairs comment.
Horrible.
There's lots of like weirdness going on where it seems just totally unnatural and uncomfortable for everybody around. But look, if this leads to some extra motivation for FakeGod, that's good. But the whole reason I'm kind of sticking on this point is because I think we have to pay attention to FakeGod's mental right now. Mm-hmm. And I don't say that in the sense that I'm worried about it. I'm saying that right now I think we're seeing him being tested in a variety of ways, because we see things like losing lanes badly. We're seeing, him getting into it, even if it was really unwarranted. He's at least getting into it with people, and we're seeing like a lot of doubters on the Twitters and Reddits.
Right.
I don't know. I just think like this dude, who's a young guy, is being put to a higher test, I think, than a lot of players are early on in his career. So we're going to get a chance to keep an eye on how resilient he is, how mentally tough he is, and that's going to give a lot of indication on what sort of player he can become in the long run.
Yeah, let's not lose the narrative on this. Like, we're having fun reacting to Broken Bloods.
Broken Bloods.
Broken Blood. To Broken Blade's tweet and the way he's
Broken Hearts
conducting himself. I think he got a broken brain after that tweet because he just laid an egg in the next game. But that's all in good fun, right? There is a real conversation that needs to continue happening here, which is, how is FakeGod progressing? Is he ready for this role on this team? And he doesn't get a pass on that any more than anyone else does. Even if we like to come to his defense when people do weird stuff. But I think we should also remind ourselves that this is not the first time or the second time or the third time that we found ourselves in a situation. I guess kind of the third. Anyway, I'm debating on whether or not I count Cody's son. So we've had, this is going to sound worse as I go. I'm not counting Cody's son. We've had young players. We've also had young academy players come into the LCS squad and asked to do a lot. And that has not been a successful experiment for us in the past. So I think we need to be cautious about that. And I don't know how much time you get. And I think the answer to that question, how much time does FakeGod get, will be different from how much time Riccara got, will be different from how much time Sligo got.
I think it's already different from how much time Riccara got.
So Riccara got, like, you mean like he's got more time?
Yeah.
Well, Riccara, I mean, what I mean is the context is different for every one of these guys.
Yeah, no, I was just
right.
joking.
Yeah, but he's had more time. But every one of Ricara's games was like a high stakes game, which was weird for him, I'm sure.
Yeah, it actually was.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's like, we can't lose sight of that he's not proven. The squad is playing better than it did without him, certainly. So I think even if you're not sure on FakeGod, you'd still be missing the point to swap him out. But long term, certainly you got to think about that.
I'm right now not worried about the kid, even in the light of his performance against Team Liquid, which was not so great in the lane phase, we'll say. Speaking of, are you cool if we transition into that game right away?
Very cool.
Okay.
Oh wait, sorry. Not cool.
Yes, go ahead. No.
Yeah, absolutely, Cole. Hold on. Let me stop you there. We do have to talk about CLG Ruin, who who tweeted after his win against TSM up against BrokenBlade, the most classic thing you could possibly tweet in that situation: lose lane, win game. What a bro. Like, love it. And then the funny thing is, BrokenBlade replied back and said, like, GG, man.
Right. I think I was considering changing the name of our account to like CLG Ruin Fan account. Just for like 24 hours.
But here's my other, when we can move on after I ask this question. Does BrokenBlade not know that he's being memed in that situation as well?
Nah, man, he was not hot-blooded anymore. That was all he could say. You know what I mean? I think he realized it and calmed down.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Because the dude got him.
Yeah. He got him real bad. Real bad. Okay.
All right, moving on.
Now let's talk about the game everybody actually wants to talk about.
Wow, this game.
Team Liquid, your MSI finalists from 2019. And the team at Rift Rivals that went 2-0 against G2 Esports played us. 100 Thieves, trying to break that habit.
Yeah, thank you. 100 Thieves.
In the game of League of Legends on Sunday, and didn't do so hot against us. They won. Reluctantly, I'll say. They won. But, okay, we need to talk about this game because the flow of the game was pretty even early on. And then in like the transition into mid game, we started falling behind a little bit, right? And I think we were down at one time about 4,000 gold, if memory serves. 3,500, 4,000, somewhere in that neighborhood. Right. Yet the game never felt out of reach during that time, which is weird. And then even weirder, we clawed our way back in the game and started making big plays and suddenly found ourselves in the lead. We found ourselves with the tower lead. We got Baron. We had the gold lead.
It was crazy.
We were team fighting like crazy.
Yeah.
It was like, what was going on?
Well, and team fighting, at one point while we were watching, we watched on VOD Squad, and I said, I just don't see a way back into this game for us.
Yeah.
And one of our enterprising fans in chat said, "Bang, like this is Bang," and Bang showed up big time. But the thing that really impressed me was we out team fought them in a lot of these situations. Against the composition, we really didn't have any grounds to out team fight. I mean,
it was like 3 times in a row too.
Yeah, and it was mid to late game Sonateric. Like, how do you team fight that team? You know, unless you blow them up. Like, you have to do so many things right, because any failed engage is just going to get erased by the heals, or it's going to get invulnerability through the Taric ult. There's just so many things you have to get right, and we just kept getting them right.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Crazy.
Very unexpected. I got to take a quick pause because Dylan, our friend Dylan Craven, just dropped 5 subs into the chat.
Dylan.
This man has given away approximately 400,000 subs to our channel. Thank you, Dylan.
Yeah.
Dylan in the treasury, rolling out the blessings.
Thanks, Dylan.
Thanks, Dylan. That's really cool. Okay, so yeah, it was like we have been, the story of the split, right, is once we made the FakeGod Ryu change, it's been finding our confidence to be aggressive, right?
Yeah.
And to fight back instead of just letting the rest of the game play out, which is what we used to do. And I can't think of a more illustrative example than this, because we really did it in a smart way. Like, we were measured about it, but when we took the risk, we all decided to go ahead and take the risk.
Yep.
And like, we saw, there's one particularly telling moment, I thought, was we kept stalling them out around Baron. Like, they wanted to take Baron, they'd threaten it, they'd bait it, we'd go in, but like only do enough to pull them off, you know, and just not engage because we knew it wasn't a good time.
It was so intense. That dance lasted for
we went back and forth
minutes.
So many times. And like, after a while, our team made the calls like, okay, this is going to go on forever. Let's just use this mid priority we have and go take a turret. And we forced them all the way back and got a turret out of it. Like, that was not the sort of play we would have made in week 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, that you and I were as likely to run that play in our games as our week 2 team, the week 2 version of this team was in week 2. Dead serious. Like, there was no way that team, I mean, spring, I'd say, is the more likely, because week 2 we were starting to show signs of life. But it was amazing. We used mid priority to basically override their Baron priority. That takes guts, man.
Yeah.
You've got to be very sure of what you're doing to walk away from the Baron when they have full control of the Baron and vision around it, and they're set up in the river. Like, don't underestimate that level of play. That is good stuff.
Yeah, so that, you know, that was really refreshing to see. Like, you know, we were clearly excuse me, we were clearly thinking through what is the best strategic move in this situation. And we continuously did that. We clawed our way back in the game. We fought them back into their base, basically. You know, after they had taken the first 4 Drakes of the game, which I think was 2 Mountains, Cloud, and Infernal.
Yeah.
It was wild, right? And then we just had one error, but it was a late game error.
Yeah,
and
one
late
error.
Game, one late game error is
40
enough to
minutes
end the game at 42 minutes. Yeah.
Our respawn timers were 50 seconds.
Yeah. So do you want to talk us through that? I know you were watching the replay of this error before we went live.
Yeah, I had to watch it right before I went live. I watched it this morning before I went to work. I watched it at work. I watched it a few times on my lunch break.
Watched it in my nightmares.
I had several waking nightmares last night, just kind of reliving the moment. I was in the elder pit, kind of trapped. Looked over, and Amazing is standing next to me. What are we doing here? Why are we here? You know, it's I have a hard time like being mad about it, to be honest with you. There have been plays like this throughout the season 2019. Like, okay, the other one that comes to mind for me is the Elder Dragon Baron combo platter that we served
No,
up.
it's Golden Guardians.
Golden Guardians in that most famous loss of ours.
In spring, yeah.
This felt so different from that because we were there. We had a plan. We knew that we had to contest this other, and we decided to, and we showed up, and we were ready to do it, and the plan just didn't work. The fight didn't go our way. You know, that like TL did a lot of things right.
Let's describe what actually happened in this because we haven't actually said that.
So, you know, and again, this is not VOD review quality analysis, but basically
we are
what
not
happened
Papa
is,
Smithy.
Yeah, disclaimer. Papa Smithy, if you ever want to feature on the show and do like a mini 100 Thieves VOD review, just know that you got an audience here, at least me and Cole.
It'll only be 10 G's, 10 stacks.
So it's worth. FakeGod basically initiates the fight with his Ornhorn. You know, like they're in the river. It's 4v5. Amazing is not there, but basically FakeGod blows the horn, and he gets a knock up on 2, and he's like, all right, 2 knocked up. Let's do this. It's time to win this game. The lane is lost badly. It's time to win the game.
We did the first part.
yeah, right. Check on step 1. Here comes the check on step 2. And he goes in. It just gets absolutely blown up. And there's really not a lot. That's other than I would need to know who made that call to say, you know, if the line for the team was hold, and then he blows the horn. He's like, we're going. That would be different, right? That's one where you'd say like, okay, rookie mistake. You know, he got over eager on that. But if somebody in his ear said, yeah, blow it, because they're all 5 standing there, I could see that. But very clearly, that was not what Amazing was planning for, because he wasn't ready to like combo, right? There was no cask that followed that knock up. There wasn't anything to scatter them. I mean, think about that. If a cask hits the middle of that, where the Ornhorn knocks people up, that's a 1 team fight. That's 1 game.
Yeah.
So I think in that regard,
he was just kind of pinned behind Baron Pit, and he had gotten Dragon Pit. I think he blast coned in and then dashed out earlier, and then was kind of on cooldown after that, and was kind of just pacing, waiting for the fight to happen. And I honestly, looking at it, I wonder if the call was made to split the fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it just didn't actually play out that way for us. So this ended up not going well. Was it a pure ace, or I think one person got away if memory serves? Maybe
1. I mean, I would expect Amazing did, because he was pretty far away from the action.
Yeah.
I think he did walk out of it. So yeah, you know, I'm sure it was a huge bummer for him, because that was the closest it's felt like to us beating TL. Gosh, I don't know how long. I mean,
yeah, since like spring 2018.
Yeah, probably. So incredibly positive signs of life. Unfortunately, an L in the ledger. And I think this kind of gets back to what you talked about at the beginning of the pod, which is how do we make sense of this what feels like progress while we continue to rack up L's in a season that is now more than half over, a split that's more than half over.
Yeah, because progress is good, right? Like, oh, great, we're playing more coordinated, more strategically. It looks like even our mechanics are improving for some players. But we can't keep losing, right? Like, there's only so many games you can lose before, guess what, your split's over. So I'm going to do the Cole thing and bookmark that, because we going to come back.
Yeah, bookmark it.
Come back. Yeah, I definitely want to talk about that. But yeah, it just seemed like that one mistake was all it took. And if we win that team fight, we win the game. So it was kind of a 50-50, and the way it played out, we decreased our chances significantly, and that's just kind of how you have to live right now. But I'm happy that we're taking those chances. I'm happy that we're showing the aggression. We saw some wonderful coordinated plays from the team. I saw like just this beautiful, and you guys, we did a VOD squad on this, so you can watch us react to this game in real time if you like go to our Twitch VODs and YouTube VODs. Actually, that one's on YouTube. But there was this in mid lane, beautiful Predator popping into a cask from Amazing that blew, I forget who it was, backwards, and Afremu was instantly there to follow up with a knockup from Rakan and end his life. Like, it was just, it looked really beautiful at times.
Yep.
And I mean,
Yeah,
there is
it was
definite,
well coordinated.
Yeah, there's definite hope. There's definite synergy building within this team, but we still find ourselves at 3-7.
I think we should call out, it's not like we played the perfect game and there was one mistake. I will say, I think we did more right than wrong in this game. And when you make some early plays that result in a deficit, you have to do more right than wrong to get back into the game. It just turns out that the pivotal kind of, I don't even know if I want to call it a mistake. I guess I'll call it a mistake. Pivotal mistake was in that 42nd minute. There were some dives. Our dives need more work, and there were some really good ones. We tried a lot. We played super aggressively in bot lane this game. They gave us the Zyra Khan again, which I always love to see. And Bang is always dangerous on Zaya, it seems like. So continue to bring that, please.
Yeah.
That being said, our dives do not look clinical yet. We need
fair enough
more work there. We take too much damage. We're not quite clean enough and decisive enough in closing those out. And I think what we saw were a couple of re-engages where the dive worked. We got what we needed, but we limped away with like 400 HP split between 3 people.
Right.
And then it was just like a jungler feast, you know?
Yeah.
Or I think in one of the games, it was a Nautilus feast, like a triple kill.
He got, Nautilus triple kill happened.
Yeah.
That was like that was in the TSM game though, but yeah.
That was TSM. That can't happen. And I think that happens when we commit more than we plan to, and then we have to limp away. So that stuff's got to continue to improve, and I think it will.
That's a good insight. I think one of the other things was, we do have to talk about it because like it's a meme, but it is the truth. Also, is the FakeGod lane phase. Yeah, has not looked good. And look, against Team Liquid, it's not like we were expecting him as Ornn to beat Jace in the lane. You know what I mean? But he got down 70, 80, 90, 100 CS.
Yeah,
but that is a lot, and it's hard to come back from that.
Yeah, that's a losing matchup for sure. You cannot lose that much, because then, especially against the Jace, because that Jace his power spike is just going to be so much further ahead than everyone else. His poke was nasty, and he was chunking everybody out.
Yeah, hard, it's like one of the accelerated shot blasts will do like 2/3 damage. You know.
Yeah, and that makes team fights almost impossible.
Right.
So again, team fights almost impossible, and then you layer on a Sonateric who are online. We played this well. We played this the only way we could have to make this as close as it was. It's a lot to be really encouraged by. But we got to figure out, and maybe part of that is just don't put the guy on Ornn if you know there's going to be a Jace across from him. I mean,
well, I wonder how much it contributed though to some of those team fights, because you got the Ornn item upgrades, and how much was that a factor later on for us when we won 3 team fights in a row? Where we're kind of making up whatever gap there is by having more power at our disposal.
Yeah, that's a good point. And
I'm not smart enough to know these answers, to be honest, but I'm just saying that's something to consider.
Like, does Bang 3-shot double lift if he doesn't have the upgraded IE?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Probably not. Like, he was deleted before he could right click away from the place he was standing. It was fast. He was surprised. So yeah, they had there was a reason they put him on Ornn.
Right.
And I think you can debate whether or not it was the right call. Being down that far in CS, does the horn make up for it? Do the items? I don't know. Hard to say.
Something else we need to talk about in this game is the incomprehensible, beyond understanding, our mighty, our feared and respected and revered wizard Ryu. Where is this coming from? Ryu.
His insane play.
This guy is getting better every week. And at this point, I'm sitting here thinking, like, he's better than he was in 2018, it feels like. I mean, maybe it's just a keen difference. So, like, in the team as a whole, so we're feeling it more. But, I mean, I'm sitting there wondering, even knowing, as we've talked about before, that he showed up a lot on our top 15 plays of 2018 countdown. He's still just he is doing some crazy stuff, and his Corky was very, very, very disruptive. And without him, that comeback did not happen.
Absolutely. There's no way we're in that game without his Corky there. Okay. We saw so many good things from him this game. He was one, so dangerous. In a team fight, he was essentially like a secondary ad carry.
Yeah.
So you had to watch out for that. He showed up in one team fight, and I at the time I said to you, it looked like he was playing a collie. Like he walks up behind the team fight and shows up and just starts deleting people in the back line. Like he gets at their squishies and just wipes them out. It was a beautiful thing to behold. And then that river play, I think I'm trying to remember exactly what it was after. It was after something that had gone horribly wrong. So it was kind of like consolation prize. But he outplays like 3 people trying to get him and chase him down. He sidesteps a Sona or a Taric stun. Like another, I think he sidesteps an empowered shock blast. You know, it's just
I think he had gotten a kill in that fight and then was retreating down the river away from 3 of them, and he should have been dead. But he was able to play his way out of that and draw their attention away, which was just as critical. It was crazy. He was all over the place. Like I said, like countless times he showed up a little bit behind during a team fight to totally change the tides.
Right.
Like,
right.
He was a game changer on Corky. And he's been, I mean, in terms of team synergy, macro, playmaking, whatever, he's been a game changer for this team anyway. Then to be coming and making that singular of a difference on a champion is just insane.
Like when he first started playing again, the conversation was, is he going to be a liability in a way that is not sustainable? And I would say he's answered that pretty emphatically, that he's here to play and he's ready.
Yeah. Well, man, I am here for this. And whatever supplements he's taking or whatever whatever meditation he's doing before his games or whatever what's the chamber called in Dragon Ball Z, where the hyperbaric chamber or hyperbolic? No, it's hyperbolic.
It's hyperbaric.
Hyperbolic for
Chat.
time. Anyway, someone tell us. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. That thing. He is just getting better. And if this keeps up, that is a huge, huge positive for us, because the whole thing is like, oh, we're so weak in mid lane. Well, what happens when we're not? Suddenly we're contesting Team Liquid in a very earnest and sincere way. Yeah. I have one final question.
Hyperbolic
on this game.
Thank
hyperbolic. Okay, yeah, I thought so.
And also, I'll try to stop saying ad carry. I'm sorry.
No, never. We're both going to say ad carry till the day we die.
We're committed to it.
Yeah, it's part of our brand. All right.
I need my ad carry shirt.
Yes, right. Yes, we do a plus carry.
Why do we say that? What happened to us?
That's like we're the only ones who say it. That's the thing.
Are we not?
No,
I don't know.
We're not. Anyway,
okay. I feel better.
So the question, the remaining question for you.
Yes.
Obviously, we're of the opinion that, hey, we're played well. We should have won that one. Okay, great, fighting. But how much of this is us playing good? How much of it is Team Liquid playing bad? Should we read into that question? What's your take?
And are you asking that? What makes you think they're playing bad? Is it because they lost the day before?
Oh, no. I'm literally asking you.
Like, do I think they're playing bad?
Yeah. Do you think this game is more of a Team Liquid didn't play so well, or 100 Thieves played better than we thought?
I think it's that we played better than we thought. I do think it's that. I would love to hear the argument, the inverse argument. I don't know if you were prepared to make that or if you want to make that. But I personally, I'm of the opinion that I think unless a team is very clearly off, like unless, like I look at us from spring, right, where you'd look at it and say, something's clearly very off here.
Yeah.
Like the Huhi teleport games and then he was kind of tilted and he just did a lot of things that were very uncharacteristic, and that just clearly spelled out that we were off. Like there weren't a lot of missed plays that I can think of from TL. Like all of those things that we did that forced them into positions where we actually had an advantage. It's not because somebody on their team was hyperinting, right? Like,
Yeah.
So yeah, I would put my flag in the we played that game well. Hill, I guess that's what I'm putting my flag in, and I'd say I think we can be proud of that. People will say, of course, that TL is washed up or they had like a hangover from Rift Rivals or whatever it is, but I'm not seeing anything from them that leads me to think that.
Yeah.
Where are you at?
I think I'm mostly on your side, especially because honestly, it kind of feels like Sonateric has been a fallback option for Team Liquid. Like, we know we can play this and do well on it. So having them kind of on a comfortable bot lane and seeing us still contest well, I think is a good sign. I didn't see any glaring problems with their draft or anything like that. So yeah, I thought this was us showing real improvement. So that gives us a lot to be optimistic about. Now, the counter to the optimism is the raw reality of the situation that we currently find ourselves in the standings. So let's transition to that.
One final thing.
Oh, you never let me do it. You never let me transition. Oh!
I just gotta. If we're gonna give BrokenBlade his like 20 minutes on the hot seat, we have to at least mention the Doublelift also made a comment which was very foolish to make. And can we just go on the record and say that ain't cool? Like 100 wheelchairs is not only like a really super lame insult, like it's also like it is not that time, and we gotta be better than that. So
yeah,
I was glad to see he apologized.
Forced by Steve, as Quasi gets it.
Forced by
the apology
Steve.
Came out.
Forced by Steve. Yes, forced by Steve. But like, if we're gonna talk beef, you gotta come up with something way better than that. What was that? Like, at least do 100 L's or something, right? Like 100L, you know, like that.
Right.
That at least is an established meme,
right.
Which is also dumb, but at least it's a thing. So
yeah. All right, we said our piece on that. Now I can transition.
Please transition us.
Now that my beautiful segue, smooth transition,
I didn't want to let him
interrupted by your zealousness to correct this young man who's out there just trying to secure the bag and be an entertaining player.
I am a bad guy.
Okay, look, what I was saying is that again, we played through week 5. We are 3-7. We are tied for 8th place. Okay, we don't have this comfortable margin of error to deal with. We need to work our way back through the entire round robin minus Team Liquid. So we've got the hardest team out of the way on the round robin, but there are still 2 or 3 teams that are definitely a tier above us that we have to play again. And basically, if we're to assume that a 500 record is going to get us in, we've got 2 losses to work with.
Yeah.
That is not good, man.
That's not.
Yeah, we have to take down one of these top tier teams along the way, and then we can't make any other mistakes. So, look, I think I wanted to. There's a listener take I wanted to read during this. This came from YouTube. Cuban Darkness posted. We have two more losses if we are hoping to hit that 9-9 breakpoint. I do think we can beat the other teams fighting for 6th, but we will need 2 wins from the top 5 teams, assuming we beat all those in the 2B bottom 4. I think we can beat OpTic, but that second win is going to be tough. We need to show up on a day the other team doesn't. And I feel like I could not have said it better myself. Like, it's really disappointing that the TSM game was just kind of dead to rights and the Team Liquid game didn't go our way, because we really, really could have used one of those wins.
Yeah. Absolutely.
What are we going to do? Like, how does the rest of the season play out for you?
I mean, I think we got to keep doing what we're doing. Like, I think additional changes at this point would be conceding the split. And for that reason, I cannot condone that. I think it's almost like we've made our wager and now we have to ride it out, right? We're all in. We've pushed all our chips on the table. you've got to just keep trying to do what you're doing as best you can. As hard as that is, when you look at the reality of the situation and recognize that there basically is no margin for error, right? Like for me, yeah, we need to win some of the games we're not expected to, and not lose any of the games we are expected to win. So there isn't room to slip. Like the margin of error is 0 at this point, I would say. Now we can change that by winning some of those games that we shouldn't, or we wouldn't be expected to. Like if we go in and beat Cloud9 and I don't know, whoever's in 4th at the time, then we buy ourselves a little room. But I'm not banking on that.
Okay, we didn't play in this, but can I do an exercise with you?
I would love to.
I'm going to read you through the rest of the team names.
Sure.
And you're just going to tell me win or loss for us. And just don't think about it. Just give me your win or loss prediction. And then we'll see what happens, okay?
Okay.
All
Let's
right,
do
you ready?
this real time. Here we go. Yep.
Cloud9.
Loss.
Counterlogic Gaming.
I don't like this game. They're playing well. Win.
Quick. Okay.
Win.
TSM.
Loss.
OpTic.
Win.
Golden Guardians.
I have to be honest with you. I think we're going to lose that.
Clutch Gaming.
Win.
FlyQuest.
Win.
And EchoFox.
Win.
Okay, so your rapid reaction gives us 3 losses.
That wasn't even that rapid. Yeah.
So that's kind of what it's looking like, right?
I know. I mean, your point is well taken. There are some really good teams outside of the top 3. None of these, some of these teams are gimme. The middle of the table is strong. It's not the same day where you've got Cloud9, TSM, TL, and everyone else. These guys they're here to play, and it's not going to be easy to get to playoffs.
Yeah, I think we absolutely have to beat CLG or TSM. Like that, one of those teams, we have to beat them.
Right.
Maybe Cloud9 will still have some weirdness going on roster-wise that we can take advantage of.
Do you know when we play them? Was that the order that we played teams in?
No, that was just the order of the standings. So give me one moment.
I actually don't know who we play next week.
OpTic and Fox are coming up for us.
That is a 2-win weekend. Must
C9
win.
C9 is the week after.
Okay.
C9 FlyQuest. Then we have Golden Guardians TSM, and then Clutch Gaming, CLG. So we have it's not like it all stacks up at the same time. It's really spread out.
We've got to be on for the rest of the split.
We can't really slip for a weekend. You know what I mean?
Right. No weekends off. Like, if you want to make playoffs, you gotta show up every weekend and play.
Yeah.
That's gonna be hard.
It is gonna be hard. So
it's gonna be hard.
Basically, that's the way I'm seeing it. Is if we drop both the CLG and TSM games, then we're done. In my opinion, we're done.
Yep.
And that's, obviously if we lose to any of the other teams, we're done as well, in my mind.
Yeah. I mean, there's still obviously the Hail Mary scenarios with the foldy paper or the sheet that folds a million times. That can still happen.
But
what?
What?
You've never seen the foldy sheet?
No, I've never seen the foldy sheet. Sorry.
Okay,
Chat, am I the only one?
So, like on the analyst desk, come the last couple weekends of the split, they'll have their piece of paper that they'll fold based on who's winning which game.
Oh, okay, I got it.
That it shows the different scenarios.
Yeah, it shows the scenarios. Okay. Yeah, I don't watch the analyst desk, man. The analyst desk. I'll watch that if I need to hear how great of a man Medios is, but otherwise, I think I'll just watch the VODs.
If you need to be reminded. Oh my goodness. Thank you, chat, for confirming that. I'm not the only one who watches the analyst desk every now and
then. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. So we've got no error margin, right?
Yeah.
We're feeling like Ryu's working.
Yes.
FakeGod, we're kind of a little unsure about, at least as it stands right now, right?
I think so.
Do you have any thoughts on his trajectory for the rest of the split?
Rest of the split, I think we need to. So we tried an Ornn thing. Let's just phrase it like that. We tried this Ornn thing out.
Ornn thing.
And I I think there is something to us recognizing we're going to need the extra kind of like group CC if we want to get into this fight and blow people up before they can just heal their way out of it. So there's strategy there, right? It's not just like a weird, like wild hair. I feel much more confident with him on a team fighting champion where he can get in there and mix it up. Aurelia, Aatrox.
Aatrox especially. I thought he's looked good.
Yeah, something like that. So I think if we can draft in that direction and kind of build that team comp where those work, I feel more confident. I would say that the others are still a little bit of a question mark for me. Yeah.
Okay, that's fair enough. I think he'll be okay. I don't think. Let's see. I'm thinking about the matchups that he'll face, and it's like I don't think many of them he'll really get exploited too bad by.
Yeah.
And I think
Licorice. He's already played Licorice once and beat him.
Licorice is battling injuries. Licorice
is,
is out right now, so
yeah.
Yeah, that could be an opportunity there. I don't know. I think he's okay. I think that he definitely needs to improve his lane phase. But other than that, man, I'm pretty happy with him, especially considering, who he's trying to replace. That's just a hole in our hearts that will never really be healed.
Nope.
So.
Nope. And shout out to Nobody for the sub. Thanks, buddy.
Oh yeah, thanks, Nobody.
Yeah. So that's a real thing, and I'm really interested. I mean, like I said, chips are on the table. We can't take them back now. I'm really interested to think about next season, and I don't want to do that and say like this season's forfeit, but I think the squad feels good right now, right? I think FakeGod kind of is the question mark for me in many of these scenarios, not because he's like I don't know, he's working better than I thought he would, especially considering the way some of these games have gone. Like, that's the weird thing about it, right? It's not like we look at it and say, like, oh, yeah, he's just showed up and he's smashed. Not really, but he's playing the games well.
Yeah. Well, look, this is an interesting question then. And this came in from Twitter at Dominique Judge 96. So if the team in its current form and recent run, so you like take how we are right now, and you transplant us to week 1 of this split and let us play out the split, how do you think we finish in the regular season?
Oh, man. I think we're definitely a playoff team if we do that. Like, the conversation that we just had about the margin of error being 0, I think at this point we were probably 5 or 6 wins, and I think that margin of error becomes a lot more generous and actually exists. So where would we predict that they finish? Maybe the question here is, if you don't look at how they've been playing and you just look at the names on the paper, where we predict we finish, I would probably be less bullish than having seen this squad play. I'd say this squad has delivered more based on what I expected from paper. That's my thought.
Well, I'm going to say that I think that there are at least, I would say 3 games that we would have won maybe, that didn't go so well earlier on in the split. So, I would put us at 6 wins probably.
Yeah.
I still don't think we could crack that top 3 level. Maybe, if we took how we are now and we kept our, delta, our rate of improvement.
Right.
Then maybe that's a different thing. But it does feel a little sad that this wasn't the case, early on. But I don't blame him. I think that the way that the season played out, I'm just happy that a change was made, and it was made early enough that we actually could make a run for that last playoff spot. So brings us to what we are contractually obligated to do, Pr0lly Watch. Yes. How did week 5 affect your take on Pr0lly Watch?
I mean, I think you just said it, right? Like, it's that improvement over time is what I'm looking at right now. And I'm not going to look at a bad draft and say, oh, get him out of here. Get him out of here. It happens. So, I would say my Pr0lly meter is about the same as where it was before. Maybe even a little bit more towards the. I mean, I'll go back to this analogy for like the 6th time. Chips are on the table. If you switch coaches now, kiss it all goodbye, right? So, does the team look at a replacement for Pr0lly in the off season? Is probably the way I think about that question. I'd say right now, no.
Well, there's always that question of who else is out there to make a difference, which I've brought up over and over again. And then if I'm going to be devil's advocate here, which I will for purposes of the show's discussion,
Please do.
I would say, well, what about Amazing the player coach? And what about Ryu the player coach? Like, is it them or is it Pr0lly that is responsible for our improvement right now? And how do you suss that out? Like, are we giving Pr0lly too much credit or no?
And I think you could ask the exact same question about Amazing and Ryu. And we've talked a lot about Ryu and how he's just this insane ability to make everyone else around him play better. It very well could be that that's Amazing. We added too many variables. This is bad science. We added too many variables at one time. It's impossible to say that one person is behind this change. So in that same vein, you can't say that this is all Pr0lly and all credit goes to him. So that being said, the current arrangement of variables we have is working. So, I mean, it's working to make us better.
Yeah.
Whether it's working to get us to the end goal that we want is another question that you need to answer at a future date.
And I'm kind of, obviously we'll never be fully qualified to conclude anything useful because we're not behind the scenes. But I always just point to the fact that, I am very confident that Pr0lly had a lot to do with the acquisition of Amazing in the first place. And that Pr0lly had a lot to do with the substitution of Ryu and FakeGod, which, let's not forget, was a very unpopular thing to do at the time. And I would argue still is unpopular among a lot of people, right? A lot of people who miss Someday, and I get why you miss Someday. Like, I get it. I miss him too. But, someone had to make those calls, and my money is on Pr0lly having at least a very large influence in that, Yeah. So that's something that counts for something.
I would say that at this point, we have who else is out there is a more nuanced question. Joseph Jang has been, I would say, I haven't seen like the workload breakdown, but he's progressing in the organization. It seems he's on stage. His title is at a higher level, so that's good. And then I think you do have people like Amazing Ryu, and let's not forget that Kelsey and the Academy team are back to, smashing. Now, a lot of talent on that Academy squad. So, but it's working. So, there are kind of glimmers of positivity in all different places right now.
Yeah. Well, look, let's move towards a wrap this up direction.
Yep.
We talked already about next week, but let's do that more concretely. So, game 1 is against OpTic, who has looked decently strong. This split may be tapering off a little bit now. Currently tied for 4th place with a 6-4 record.
Yes.
You are putting us in which column? Win or loss? Win. All right. So win against OpTic, and you look so confident.
I am that guy who's going to say win for almost all of these, unless I have room in my loss budget to say loss. And right now I don't, so I'm going for win.
You are a believer in.
If you're betting off of this advice, which I do not recommend, just discard everything I say for the next several weeks because it's going to be all on what I would love to have happen.
I'm going to say we win against OpTic. Actually, I am the pessimist and or realist here, but I still think with the current form that we have, especially coming off of Liquid, where it's like, no, guys, we could have won that. We are good. We can do this. I think that there's a chance to come in and get that OpTic win. And then I think we both would say the same thing about Fox, right? Like, Fox is one game behind us in the standings, but I don't feel particularly threatened by them. Do you?
No. I really don't. I think that team feels like they are kind of floundering. I mean, they're 2-8, and they feel a lot more like a 2-8 team than we do like a 3-7 team, given the way we played against Team Liquid, is what I'll say. So, yeah, I'm gonna say win on that one for sure.
So that is a 2-0 week prediction from both of us.
That is pretty rare these
the
days.
optimist on the right and the realist on the left.
Yes.
The realist, if you will.
Yeah, I will.
And that would put us ever closer to that 500 that we need to be. We'd finish 5-7. It's a big deal. Let's see. There were a couple other listener things I wanted to bring up really quick, including this question from our man Dylan Craven, who gifted a ton of subs, but had a good question on top of that. He said he wanted to know, is Amazing's hit or miss mechanics good enough to get us into playoffs?
Oh, there's another cask that missed, and he had a kind of a famous reaction for it. It was like this. I rewatched that one again too, and I think it was the result. My thought. Somebody else said I think he was predicting a flash. Very possible. I think that Double F was actually stunned when he threw it. So maybe I think it looked like some chain CC came through that he wasn't anticipating, and he was expecting for him to continue to walk forward. So. I think so. I think, to answer Dylan, I think his mechanics are getting to the point where, like his Sedge pulled a ban. They did not want to play against his Sejuani. So that it's come a long way in a short time. And I think it will be good enough to get us to playoffs. Whether or not it gets us through playoffs, I don't think that we'll be out of playoffs for that reason. That's my answer.
Yeah. I kind of feel the same. I feel like he shook off a lot of rust early on, and that now he's been playing pretty well. I mean, he did get caught out on that last team fight like we pointed to, but I think overall he's provided a lot of support to the lanes, and we do need to clean up the tower dives like you were pointing out. Like, that's a really good insight. But I do think he's enough to get us into the playoff race for sure.
Yeah.
As if we play every game from now until the end of the split, like we just played against Team Liquid, we'll make playoffs. I'm very confident in that. The only question is, can we keep that level of play up? But, we've seen what the ceiling is, or at least what it appears to be, and it's pretty good. So, yeah, I think he does have enough to get us into there.
Yep.
And then there was one other question. I'm looking for. Sorry, one second. Oh no, we already did it. Actually, it was embedded into. Yep. No, the Dominique Judge question. Okay, cool. Then there's one final thing we need to do before we wrap up this show, and that's to high five each other over the internet. High five, boom. No, it's to give away a windbreaker. The only reason anybody's listening to what we have to say about this right now.
At the 70th minute. The 70th minute. And
let me make a quick note, since this is being asked in the chat again. Ray, we'll talk about trades and future roster stuff at a later date. Right now, we're going to pass over that discussion, but we'll save that. We definitely
will add it to a future
that.
Agenda.
Yeah.
I'm going to copy paste right now.
So the real pressing topic is, who won the windbreaker? Now,
who did?
I think the answer to who won the windbreaker is who said the most prayers to the RNG gods, who made the best offering, who pleased the karma world.
I am so excited to announce that I have won the windbreaker.
You did? You won?
I won it. I can't believe it.
All right.
I just can't. I don't know. I did a random pick, and there I am.
And that is our show. We'll see you next week. No. The real winner is drum roll. Give it to me. Katie McShady on Twitter. User Katie McShady is the winner. Katie McShady.
You have won.
Will be the owner.
Black. Windbreaker.
Original windbreaker. Let's interrupt each other with as many adjectives as we can.
I was trying to go back and forth. Like one, you, me, you. Anyway.
She's going to be dripping with the new windbreaker.
Indeed.
We'll get in touch with you over Twitter. We are so sad that we cannot bless everyone in chat with this windbreaker. There will be future opportunities to win different things from us, Jordan. Don't you think?
I don't know.
There might be.
I don't know.
A time where you could win something else.
I wish I knew.
We'll try and keep doing giveaways.
We will. We'll keep. And listen, these shirts are really fresh. I wouldn't be surprised if your odds are better than they were for the Windbreaker to win another kind of merch opportunity.
Apparel.
It may not. That was a pretty.
It's apparel. Jordan.
Well, we might not always be giving away clothes, Cole.
Oh, is that a hint?
I don't know.
Who knows? Let's be cryptic.
I got a box full of fat heads with my face on it. I got to give those to somebody.
Me, please. I'll take them all.
Just take all of them. Oh boy, that's an April Fool's upcoming joke.
Don't spoil it. We're so far off the rails. We need to finish.
Yes,
okay.
You're right.
Look, let's give the final speech. Final speech. Okay. I'll start.
Okay.
Guys, I know it's been a really rough split and an even rougher last split. We're in a good position now. We got the juices flowing. We got synergizing all over the team. We got amazing, improving every week, and being that just no BS, gonna tell it like it is guy. We got Aframu claiming on the heist that because he cusses, everybody is gonna be more aggressive. Who knows if that's the truth? But we got cusses, tough guys, aggression. It's the winning recipe. We got Ryu, the incomprehensible god. We have the fake god, who's also, you know, he's pretty good too. So we got the real and the fake god.
Yeah, real god.
And we got bang. This is bang. We can do it. We can make playoffs. Send your juju to the team. Make your offerings, build your shrines, burn incense, whatever you need to do.
Brand your irons.
Brand your irons, pay your tithes, whatever. We can do this. We can make playoffs and no longer be a laughing stock. All right?
We got this.
Anything to add, Jordan?
I'm going to play that back. Let me just try it. I think I got it all. Let me try it. Guys, I can't. It was well said. You hit on all the important points. I was reminded as you were doing that we made a very similar speech before 2019 season started. And it made me feel both sad and just kind of like forlorn inside my heart a little bit, because the potential is there.
The potential's there. There is now, we have reached the legal standard of preponderance of evidence that this team can get it done. There is a preponderance of evidence. We're expanding your vocabulary today that we are good enough to be a playoff team, a number 6 team. So let's get out there and run it up.
Let's find ourselves guilty of making the playoffs.
We need to stop right now. We love you. We miss you already.
Take care,
Come
everybody.
back next time. Bye.